Well, I'm joined now by CNN political commentator Sally Cohn and Ben Ferguson. Sally, to you first, your reaction to this. I mean, you were saying you think it could be both, a little bit political and a little bit factual.
I mean, of course it's a little bit political. The whole situation was political, right? It's not just that this prosecutor had a DUI that Perry wants to see removed, but this is the Democratic stronghold in a Republican state. This is the part of the prosecutorial arm of both local and state government that holds Republicans in the state, including Perry, accountable.
I will say the special prosecutor, Michael McCrum, vehemently denying that today, saying, look, he's saying that I'm political or the grand jury here is political. Neither are true.
His appointment and the actual grand jury's findings may not be, but the whole kerfuffle, if you will, is certainly part political and part fact. But the other reality here is we have to let the facts play out, right? I mean, what's fascinating is Perry is saying we don't use indictments, one of his quotes. We don't use indictments to settle political scores. Well, you know, we don't cut funding and use veto threats to settle political scores
either. To be fair,
either.
I want to get Ben in here. Perry said that he thinks that the DA who was arrested, for DWI and pled guilty, he said that is not an individual we can afford to fund. Does he, as a governor, have a right to decide who that money should be allocated to?
Right, but the problem is we have checks and balances in our political system. So look, if Perry did that action, and if that action is unlawful, the court will find it so. So it is appropriate to investigate not only whether the DA has abused power, which, by the way, there was a separate investigation that was closed, but also whether the governor has abused his power here.
I want to bring in Ben. Ben, you just sounded off on Twitter, which is so unlike you to be vocal about how you think, really giving big praise to Perry on this one, in your opinion.
Well, there's three things here that are obvious that a lot of people may not realize outside of Texas. One, this already played out in the public eye. If he was trying to do something behind the scenes or in a shady way, you don't openly go out and say, this woman cannot be trusted with millions of dollars of funds when she is out there putting people's lives at risk. There's a second part of this. She is a convicted individual. She is a criminal. She is one that went to jail. And there's people that don't like people that go to jail investigating people in politics that may be abusing their power. So he openly said, not behind closed doors, he said in front of cameras, he said on radio shows, I'm not going to give money to a woman that the public does not trust, who has gone to jail, who attacked the police. So if you're trying to commit a crime, if Governor Perry was trying to truly do something shady, would you say it before you ever did it? Of course not. And that's the reason why this is so political.
Ben, as one of the reporters there in that press conference asked the governor, a lot of the questioning here is around the fact of threatening. Was it, threatening to her to say either step down or you're not going to get this money? It's one thing to say you're not getting this money because I don't think you're fit. Right. It's another thing to, as these allegations are, to say step down or I'm going to do this.
And I would say this. You have a woman who is a criminal, and he says, I'm not giving you money to be in charge of the people that you're supposed to be the investigator of people in public office that may be doing bad things. We cannot trust you. You attack police. You drive drunk. You could have killed somebody. You can't be trusted with millions of dollars of taxpayers' dollars, so I'm going to veto it. That, to me, doesn't seem like a threat. That to me seems like a governor who understands his role with a veto, and he did it in public in front of everyone. He didn't hide it at all.
Ben, a couple things. First of all, from a legal standpoint, Poppy's exactly right. It's the threat. It's the coercion. That's what's under investigation.
That's not coercion. That's being a good governor.
Number two, it should be the Democratic voters of that Democratic district who get to decide whether she stays in office, and not a separate legislative branch, right? Not but the executive branch having say-so over that. But the meta picture here, which I find very funny, is the same Republicans who are defending this, calling this a sham lawsuit, are the same ones who want to go sue President Obama for
totally different
circumstances, saying he's overstepped his authority, right? And he's been as public about that authority as Ben saying, oh, well, because Governor Perry did it publicly, it can't be illegal. I just think this is
Sally,
hilarious.
It's completely different scenario here, and you know that. The difference here is the people in her own community even said they wanted her to step down, and that's why she did not run for re-election, because she knew with the polling that she was going to be voted out by Democrats who did not trust her. So I would say call her, ask her as a criminal how the people in her community responded. They responded the same way Governor Perry did, saying we don't trust you, we don't want you to have your job, and we don't want you to have this money.
All right, guys, I'm getting the wrap. We got to go really quickly to both of you, and I mean short, quick answers here. Do the optics of this, either way that it ends up in the court of law, if it goes that far, Ben, you first, and you, Sally, does this hurt Governor Perry in a run for the White House in 2016?
I think it helps him because it shows how political it is. And I think it's going to come out in a way that's going to seem so partisan at the end of the day. I don't think he's worried about going to jail at all. And most people, including David Axelrod, agreed with me.
I agree with Ben. In the primaries, it helps him with the, fringe Republican voters. But in the general election, if he makes it there, no way does it help.
We'll be watching. Appreciate the expertise. Both of you. You agree on something. Wow. All right, we're going to go to break on that. And when we come back, unrest overnight.